Welcome everybody to my live stream. I'm so happy to have you here today. Today you're watching a live stream with me, the voice shaman. Some of you watching are also going to know me as Nicole. You're my friends in my real life, although the voice shaman people are also my friends in my real life. And some of you who are here might also be over here from my musician page, which is Yoka Kanoa. Wherever you came from, however you got here, I would like to welcome you. Thank you so much for spending this time with me this evening. So what we have planned today, we're going to do three things. Number one, I'm going to answer one question. Number two, I'm going to answer a second question. And number three, I'm going to do a live improvised chant for you guys with this new instrument that I got, and I'm very excited. So I asked you guys through the course of the last week if you had any questions regarding vocal issues or voice spirit things, and I got some really interesting questions. So I want to start with a question from Janine. She wrote me asking, how do you pick the right key to sing a song in when you're not a musician and you don't really know a lot about keys or about how to, determine the range of music? This is a really, really good question because it's something that affects everybody. And, there are many cases where when you're singing, there will be a part of the song that just like ends up sneaking up on you. And you're just like, where did that come from? You can have this experience when it comes to vocal range or the range of the song. And you can have this experience when you're dealing with the tempo of the song. When you're talking about vocal range and how to find the right vocal range of a song, classic example is the Star Spangled Banner from my American friends. Because the Star Spangled Banner starts low and then towards the end it goes up a lot higher. Well, I mean, it's not high. We'll talk about that in the second question, but it goes up in range, the frequency increases, and it's really, really intense. And what a lot of people do with the songs like the Star Spangled Banner is they'll start the song too high in the register. Then when they have to go up, they completely biff. Basically, also, this could be true with like anything Mariah Carey, most stuff Whitney Houston. If you think about this song, Can't Live Without You by Mariah Carey, it starts low. Da 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 da, and you're like, okay, cool, that sounds fine. But then we go, I can't live. She jumps up an octave for the chorus. Now, if you start, and this is what Janine was asking, if you start that song too high, when it comes time to jump up the octave, it might not be the most fun experience for you. And this has happened to me before. I'm sure if my mom and my sister are watching, they will probably write to me about the time that I completely ate it when I was singing the national anthem at a basketball game when I was in high school. There's mom, hi. I actually did crack on the top note, but I think that was less a function of not being able to hit it and more a function of not preparing my body to sing that note. I have one other really funny story, it's one related to the tempo of the song, because what happens with a lot of songs is that they'll have all songs have different sections. But one thing that will happen is that in the different sections of the song, you'll have them singing at different speeds or different tempi. Now, chances are that it's actually the same tempo in the whole song, but if they're singing a long note or they're singing a bunch of short notes, it's going to feel faster. So I was in a karaoke bar in Vienna, 2005. I was in Europe studying German just for the summer. And I was in a karaoke bar and everyone that we were with was like, yeah, you guys are singers. Yeah, this is a karaoke bar. Let's do it. Side note, being a singer, testifying right now, being a singer does not mean that you're good at karaoke. I suck at karaoke. I'm horrible at it. I just have to put that out there. So this experience was confirmation of that. So I decided, okay, I'm going to do this beautiful Annie Lennox song called Why. It's crooning, it's slow, why. It's very just like, it's juicy. What I forgot about is that in the middle of the song, or a little bit later, she kicks into this part that's where the notes she's speaking are like double tempo, right? So she's going wa da da dee da 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 da, forgetting the words, and then it goes. Then there's a section that goes da 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 da. Did I hear the voices in my head? Da 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 da. And so not only does she go faster, but her range goes up and down. I'm standing there, karaoke bar, full of people, shoulder to shoulder, and I'm eating it like no other. The words are just like scrolling by at like lightning speed across this karaoke monitor. And yeah, it's a really good thing that I didn't decide to quit singing that day, because it was absolutely mortifying. But it was also a really funny memory. So now those are some examples. You might experience this in your own way when you're humming a song or you're singing along with friends. Or as Janine mentioned when she wrote to me, sometimes the original song, like if you're singing in the car, you're singing with the radio, you're singing with Spotify, sometimes the original key is actually not suited for the voice. Now, it's another topic to talk about, like what vocal training does to change the range. Sometimes you'd even find that if you warm up the voice, you have access to more range. So the vocal range of an instrument, of a singing instrument, is actually pretty variable, and it also depends on what register you're using, chest voice, head voice, but that's a whole technical thing that's not interesting right now. But what is interesting is the how. I want to sit here in my apartment, I want to hum this song, and I know it's too high for me. What do I do to choose the right key to sing in? So this is how you do it if you're not a trained musician, or even if you are a trained musician, it's also how you do it. So you want to go through the song in your head, and you want to map out the highest note, and you want to map out the lowest note. So I'm going to take that Mariah Carey song for an example. You're going to know right away where the highest note is, because it's going to be the note that, like, when you're thinking about it, you're like, ugh, I love the song, but that note. So you're going to already know where that part is in the song if you know the song pretty well. So you're going to think, okay, you're going to go think about that part. Now that feels a little high. Well, but now that song also goes low. Da 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 da. Yeah, so this song actually has both sides. So what you want to do is you want to map the song out in your head, and you want to sing it a little bit to yourself and see how you feel on those pitches. So let's just say, though, which is the most common one, I'm on the higher end. So I'm going to go, I can't live, and I'm going to go, oh, no, that doesn't feel good. So pick another note. Can't live, what living is without you. Okay, that feels better. Now, it's really transposing, which is what we're doing right now. Transposing in and of itself is its own art form. It's its own skill. So we're not sitting here expecting somebody to, be able to, pick a note and then like transpose the whole song. But chances are, if you find the part of the song that's difficult for you, you sing it in your head, and then you pick a different note to start that passage on, and then you continue singing it like you hear it in your mind. You're going to automatically transpose, because your body has a muscle memory of the relationship between those pitches, and so your body's going to automatically remember the relationship and the melody. So, recap. What you do is you take the song that you want to sing, you find in your mind, okay, where's the high part that makes me uncomfortable? You sing it, and then you bring it down until you find a note that's comfortable for you, and then go back to the beginning of the song in the new key that's now set in your ear, because you've kind of worked the melody in the more difficult part. So how would that sound? It sounds like this. Okay, I want to sing the Mariah Carey song. I can't live, what living is with... No, it's too high. Can't live. Let's go. I can't live, what living is without you. I can't live anymore. Da. Then I know exactly where the next verse starts. Ba da ba da 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 dee da. Okay, that's pretty comfortable. It's actually, for me, what I'm feeling now, it's a little high for the verse to start. So let's bring it down a little bit more. Da 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 da, can live. Da 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 da. And that's how you find the key of a song as a non-musician that's more comfortable for you. Now, another topic, as I said, is vocal range, but that is all a whole nother spiel. So I hope that was clear. Let me just take a look and see if there's any questions. I don't see any, so that seems to be pretty clear. Now let's move on to the second question. The second question, or rather topic that I wanted to talk about, is actually related to the last topic, related to, what if it's too high, it's uncomfortable. And this is something that I kind of observed and have thought a lot about over my own years of singing, and also the years of teaching that I've done. How, the language that we assign to things can create a situation where it makes it harder than it actually is, because we're basing our sense of the thing on the wrong terminology. So what am I talking about? And you guys know now, I'm the voice shaman. I really have a passion for spirituality, for shamanism and voice together. These are the things that I'm uniting in the work that I do. So what happens to you spiritually? What happens to your singing spirit when you are thinking high and low during singing? What does that do? How does that hurt your singing spirit, and how can you fix it? So let's first talk about what singing high and low means. I know that I just used high and low 1,000 times in my last explanation, but it's a super old habit. I was trained high notes, low notes. So it's a very difficult, even for me, with a consciousness about what the implications are of high and low and not high and low. Even being trained in that sense, I still have that terminology. So that was my disclaimer. But what happens when you think high and low when you're singing? Notes are not high or low. What they are is faster or slower. A note is a frequency. A frequency is a wavelength. So if you have the note A, one of the A's is 440. The A that's an octave below, 440 hertz. Okay, that's how fast the vibration is. The A below that is 220. So is 220 lower than 440, or is it slower than 440? The right answer is slower. Why is it not lower? Because low and high has to do with relation to gravity. It has to do with a relation to some sort of floor or bottom surface. What happens then when you are thinking high or low when you're singing? Your body automatically behaves in a way that it has to fight against gravity. It puts more weight into the voice when you're thinking high or low. Whereas if you're thinking faster or slower, when I have a high note, the air needs to move faster. And there's also another element to that, but the air moves faster and the vibration is faster. And so it has a lightness to it. Faster is lighter. And pro tip, when you want to sing high, it's a lighter singing, not heavier singing, not more pushing. There is singing, of course, belting, where you really, you let it all out and there's a lot of air pressure behind the voice. But a good belt is going to still have that space. It's not going to be, it's going to have a lot of pressure, but it's not going to be so heavy that it starts to destroy your singing. So, all that is great. What does that have to do, though, with how it's hurting your singing spirit? Okay. Thinking high and low brings a lot of discomfort into the singing. It makes you then think, crap, I can't do it. Ugh, I have so much more to learn. The number of singers, myself included, who go through university and there's one note in the range somewhere up here where all of a sudden it's like that's the note where the voice just won't go past. Sometimes it's physiological. Sometimes it has to do with the length of the vocal folds and the voice just won't do it physiologically. But most of the time, this note that's we consider high, we have such a mental block for that note that we don't allow ourselves to be light enough to be relaxed enough to have the right, total, the vocal mechanism doesn't work because we're putting too much pressure on it. So how does this hurt then you spiritually? Because you are thinking in high and low leads to, I can't do this. And when you start approaching expression through a lens of I can or can't do this, you are creating a condition on your spirit and a condition on the expression. You're not expressing unconditionally. Think of a kid. A kid who's singing their favorite song does not give a crap if the key is right. They don't give a crap if the note is high. They just sing it and they do it with joy, and there's no second guessing themselves. There's no inner voice that says like, this is, I can't do this. They believe in themselves because they were never taught not to. When we think high and low, we're taught high. There's a place that you can't go past. You have a limit. And okay, physiologically, maybe sometimes that's true. But most of the time, our physiological limit, particularly for untrained singers, your physiological limit of where you can sing is like way, way, way higher than you think it is. Yeah. So thinking high and low sets a limitation on you mentally, and you end up manifesting that difficulty in the voice because look, you experience what you believe. If you believe that note is too high, you will never, you're not going to get it. You're not going to get it because it's something that you have said is impossible. And then when there's something that you want to do and you can't do it, especially when it's something that is possible, but you make it so that you can't do it because you tell yourself it's not possible, it starts to erode your self-esteem. It starts to erode your desire to express. And this is how it hurts your singing spirit. So what do you do about it? It's it's the simplest thing in the world. But, a lot of times the simplest things are the most difficult to execute. Instead of thinking high or low, think fast and slow. Okay, I'm going to say that again. Instead of thinking high or low when you're singing, think fast and slow. So if I'm going to go back to that Mariah Carey example, I'm going to start at the bottom, where the verse is. It's in a lower range. Da, 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 da. And I'm going to let myself imagine that the vibration is slower because it is. Not only is the vibration slower, but my vocal folds are more relaxed. They're not as taut. So it's just a much more relaxed thing. Now, when I'm going to go high, I can't live. If I think of the vibration going higher, it's going to be energized. It's going to be like soda or sparkling water. It's going to have bubbles in it and it's going to go out and it's going to become so much easier to sing. I promise that. I have applied that to myself 1,000 times. That's what I've taught all of my students, and that thing really works. Now, that's like a visualization technique for it. How do you address it mentally or physically rather? The best thing that you can possibly do is the following. Use your body to tell your mind that it's putting a stupid limitation on you. Okay? When you are singing, if the melody goes up, you want to take your body and put it down. When the melody goes down, you take your body and you bring it up. So you're creating a balance within the singing. The thing is that if you're singing low, if you go down in the singing and you let the body go down, what happens is you usually end up being flat. The tone is flat. It sounds strange. What we end up doing when we think something is high is we bring our whole body up high with us, and that creates like more tension than was even there originally. And the up, so much tension, and then we have a cap, it's too high. So what do? You stand, and when you're singing, and you're gonna go up, so I would do something like this, okay? I would go, I can't live, we're living is without you. I can't live, I can't live anymore. Let your legs and let the floor under you support the high note. I swear to Goddess, God, universe, whoever is out there listening, all the aliens, I swear to all of you, if you do that, it will open up the top of your range super, super easy. So that is that. Those are my 2 answers to the questions this week. Let's see how we're doing here on time. Very cool. So I said to you guys in the description of this event tonight that I'm going to do a live chant for you. And that's what we're going to do right now. So I like my little kitty cup. So thank you already for all the people who are watching. What we're going to do with this chant is I'm going to play this instrument. It's a droning instrument. And I'm going to improvise, and I'm going to find a melody. I'm going to find something that feels like it's, true for this moment. Once I find that melody, I'm going to repeat it. And feel free then to join in and sing it with me if you want, or just listen. But feel free to sing it with me and get that melody going, because then what I'm going to do, after I sing the primary melody, for a little bit, I am going to start to improvise and sing around that melody. Yeah, so you guys are going to be singing this primary melody, and I'm going to be going up and down and around it so you can feel the relationship between different voices when you're singing. Then I'm going to sing the melody again, and I want you guys to, if you want, to experiment, maybe go up and down and around the melody and see how it feels to express on a voice who's holding a steady foundation for you. Then after that, we're going to be done. So I'm going to turn on my reverb, because I figured out how to do that today on a live stream. Absolutely delightful. So reverb is on. I just went from my apartment to some beautiful hall somewhere. And now, a beautiful improvised chant for you. Here's our melody. That was really beautiful. And I could really feel you guys with me. That was really pretty spectacular to feel. I think at least one of you was singing. I could feel another voice kind of in the ether. So, thank you guys so much for spending this time with me this evening. I know that time is a precious commodity, and there's a lot of stuff happening in the digital space these days, especially since we're all at home. So I really appreciate you guys spending the time with me. I have some events coming up that might interest you. So I'm going to do this again in 2 weeks on Wednesday, the 21st of April. And I'm thinking I'm going to do a Q&A with a chant every 2 weeks. We'll also see, if you guys want to hear something else, or if there's other stuff that you want to experience or know, I'm totally open. So feel free to send me a message or, get in contact with me with any ideas that you have. And then on April 25th, I'm giving my Moon Mana Goddess Circle for women of all geographical and biological origins. It's an online circle that focuses on the Celtic goddesses, the moon calendar, the seasons, and all things woman. So it's a really incredible session, and this month we're dealing with the amazing goddess and the pretty unknown goddess, the Morrigan. She, in the Celtic world, is known as the goddess of death and of war, but that's not all. She's also the goddess of birth and rebirth, and we're in spring. Spring has sprung. We're in the midst of death, birth, rebirth. Birth, death, rebirth. That's the order. But actually, I guess you could start anywhere because it's cyclical. In any case, you're very welcome. I put the link here in the event, in this, whatever this is, in the description. And you can also find the link on the Voice Shaman. It would be super cool if you guys enjoyed this. Go ahead and share it with your friends, put it on your wall. It's really awesome for me, that you guys like it and want to share. And if you want to stay up to date with all of the stuff, the events and everything, like my Facebook page, The Voice Shaman, and I have an Instagram page, The Voice Shaman. Ultimately, there's also a YouTube channel that's coming because I'm going to be releasing music under The Voice Shaman, shamanic journeys and meditations, and that's it for now. So I'll see you guys in 2 weeks. Thank you so much for being here with me, and I wish you an absolutely gorgeous rest of your week.